Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt from Matt Thinks, and today I'm going to be talking about the future of user generated content, and more specifically, freedom of speech on user generated content sites such as YouTube, Twitter, and Reddit. I was prompted to talk about this today when I saw this following post on a message board site called Vote. This post is from a top administrator at Vote, and basically what it says is that Vote faces having to possibly shut down because they can't cover their very high server costs of over $6,000 a month. They're simply not getting enough revenue from advertising and donations to keep the site afloat. And this really saddens me because, in case you haven't heard of Vote, Vote is basically like a free speech version of Reddit, where they won't remove or ban any communities or any information or opinions unless they're strictly illegal. However, I'm not very surprised that Vote is having money issues because it must be very difficult for them to get advertisers or to generate any revenue when the content that gets posted on the site, since they don't really control any of it or restrict any of it, is often considered very controversial and hateful, such as things such as racist content or things such as fat people hate, which is basically a part of the site where people just rip on fat people. However, even though Vote is a very obscure case, they're not alone in having issues with advertisers and with being able to generate revenue. For example, many of you people on YouTube know about the YouTube adpocalypse, or so it's been called, where basically a bunch of advertisers have pulled advertisements and funding of YouTube due to their ads being placed on controversial or what they consider to be hateful content. Therefore, this issue, like so many others, leads to the issue of money. Who's going to pay the server costs of these sites, and who's going to pay the people who run the sites and people who program and code them to keep them going? And really, I think what we need to have is a talk as communities about how we're going to help support these sites or how we want them to be run and generate revenue so that they can keep their operations going. And so I think there's many different ways that these sites can make money, but each have their pros and cons. The most common solution to the money issue is what I've already been talking about, which is having advertisers. And this is probably the most ubiquitous solution that we see on the internet and really just anywhere in media. We see media giants such as Facebook or television companies who make most of their money from advertising, making billions and billions of dollars from said advertising. However, as a user, there's a lot of downsides to advertising. Well, I personally don't have to pay anything then to get that content. I really hate seeing ads. And also, there's a lot of issues that come when you start taking advertiser money. For example, I've already been talking about is the censorship issue. Advertisers don't want their ads placed on controversial things. This is an issue for places such as Twitter and YouTube who have trouble controlling who posts and who posts what. This leads places such as YouTube to have aggressive algorithms decide who gets monetized and who doesn't on their videos. Or, for example, we see things with Twitter or Reddit where they ban users or entire communities, such as in places such as Reddit. And then we look at places like Vote who refuse to do those things, often having trouble to get advertising. So when you take money from advertisers, you're really giving them a lot of control of the site, which is a huge downside. Another issue is the privacy one. You see sites such as Facebook collecting tons of personal information and then selling them to advertisers. So, while advertising is a really simple solution in that I can use these services and community members can use these services and not have to pay anything, the issue is you're really selling your personal information and the right for the communities of places such as Reddit to control the site and really giving the advertisers a power to decide what content's going to be allowed and what content isn't, which can hurt a lot of creators or just people with controversial opinions, even beyond the people who do things such as hate speech. But I think we're going to be seeing even more issues with advertising in the future, with things such as AdBlock becoming more and more ubiquitous. AdBlock, while it's still a major part that many people use, is becoming even more and more common, and while some sites have tried to fight it with anti-AdBlock technology, the ad blockers always seem to be one step ahead, and so it might be an issue for these sites in the future to try and make all the money from advertising, beyond just looking at the issue it has on the people who use the sites. Another way for sites to generate money is through premium content. This can be things such as Reddit Gold or YouTube Red, where extra goods or services or videos are given to the people who pay a little bit extra money when most people generally aren't paying anything. This can be a good way for sites to make some extra money from their users so they don't have to rely so much on advertisers, and can help keep advertisers' control of their platform down. However, the downsides are really clear with this way, in that, first of all, it can break up communities by, for example, having maybe premium message boards and non-premium ones, or also it can turn creator time and talent to only for the people who are willing or able to pay for premium services. For example, with YouTube Red, they pay for top YouTubers to make YouTube Red only content. That means the talent and time of some of the top talent on YouTube is being only used to give content for the people who are willing to pay. And while I understand why YouTube does it, I'm not disagreeing with them making some of their content premium. It really sucks that some of the community who might not be able to afford to or just doesn't want to pay for the content can't access it anymore. That's why I think user-supported content is great, but it should be more voluntary. I think a better way than to do a premium subscription model or to sell content is to have voluntary user support. This can really come in two different ways. One is things such as direct donations, such as Patreon, which can either be one time or monthly, or for these sites to sell swag and other goods such as t-shirts, mugs, really any type of branded content they can sell to help generate revenue for these sites. However, while I really like this method and when people can be successful with it, I really prefer this method, the limitations really are clear. It's really tough to voluntarily generate money from your communities. And while some people have been very successful with selling shirts and stuff like that, it's really difficult to be successful at this. And especially simply doing things such as direct donations are usually not that lucrative or successful at all. Another issue is that when you sell things such as goods and services beyond just your videos with things such as t-shirts, it really can hurt the ability for the creator to keep making their content, and often they spend a ton of time having to fill shirt orders or mug orders or really whatever, and it restricts their ability to spend their time to make more and better content. However, I really still do prefer this method. I hope more people will be able to use it. That's why I'm really calling on everyone to, if you're a favorite YouTuber or if you like things such as Vote, for you to donate a little bit of money their way, whether it's just a couple bucks on Patreon or a couple of dollars in a direct donation, or to buy some of their goods that many of these people sell. However, I'm very realistic and I understand that many people will have to do things such as advertise or use premium content. I think really, in my opinion, the most important thing, if they can't just go fully voluntary user supported, is to do everything in moderation. Yeah, take advertisers, but don't allow them to control you. Do premium content, but keep most of it free. Or do things such as the Vessel model, which I know they're closed now, but their model was that they gave out their content earlier, where if you paid a little bit of money every month, you could get your favorite creators' shows about a week earlier. I think these types of ways are a lot less intrusive and a lot less harmful to the community and to the creators. However, I'd be really interested in hearing what you guys think. How do you think these sites and these creators should be supported on places such as YouTube and Reddit? And do you think there is a future for things such as free speech on user-generated content, or do you think companies that advertise are really going to take control and dictate what goes on these sites? We've seen stuff such as Vote possibly selling down and the YouTube adpocalypse. So I'd really love if you guys could subscribe to my channel. I'm going to keep doing these videos. And comment below if you agree with me or disagree with me, or really if you have any opinion on this matter.